Hello, welcome back. Fred's Radio Holiday Gobox. Now, I'm sure all your radio guys know what a Gobox is, but for those who don't, quite simply a box normally made out of plastic, sometimes wood, that you shovel your radios in. Now, some could be as simple just as a recycling bin. But the idea is all the same, is you put your radios into this and then guys go out and sort of do DXing on hillsides and things. And normally the radio box has a battery and stuff. It just keeps it all together in one place. So I quite like the concept of this. When I go on holiday, I'd like to take a radio, maybe two radios, but it gets a bit messy and it gets a bit kind of tedious trying to load it all in the car. So I thought of the idea of putting everything in just in one box. So because the space is pretty tight in the car, I chose a very small box, and here it is. It's one of those like aluminium sort of 7-inch single flight cases. Now, we all had these kind of things when we were kids. We sort of had the plastic versions, didn't we? We put our 7-inch singles in. So this is the size of box I'm hoping to cram at least one radio in, maybe a swarm meter and a matcher, things like that. Just get everything nice and neat in one easy box I can sling in the car. So it's going to be quite a challenge, especially with heat as well, because this is quite a small case, so I'm going to have to put plenty of ventilation and maybe a fan as well. So that's the crazy idea. So hope you enjoy this first video.
Well, hello. Well, welcome up to a little section of the loft. This is where all the crap is kept. This is what we've all got, these sections, haven't we? And this is the sort of the burial ground for lots of projects that I've made in the past. Mainly considering, well, mainly sort of things like driving cockpits and God knows what else. We've got old CB radios here, power supplies, you name it. Bits of computer. So when I build this little Gobox, you know, to sort of try and neaten everything up, well, I've got a lot of this stuff that I've switches and, you know, stuff that I've bought for previous projects, switch boxes and stuff. So, you know, I want to try and recycle some of this old equipment that I've got up here. 'Cause it just seems a shame that it's just sitting up here, and you know, it's cost effective to try and reuse some of this rubbish. So I don't know how it's going to turn out. It's hopefully it will look okay, but it might be a little bit Heath Robinson. It could be a kind of mismatch of old used parts, so it might look bloody awful actually. But anyway, that's the idea. As I say, you know, it's a shame that, you know, all these things cost money, don't they, and you end up just like boxes and boxes of rubbish. So going to try and sort of use up what I can anyway. That's the idea. We'll try and stick with that. So here is the little Lexion 898 two-way radio from Hong Kong. Wasn't too bad. Took about 8 days to get here. Get one of these typical kind of thank you for your purchases. Please give us 5 stars. Well, I think I will actually give them 5 stars. I'm quite pleased with the service. So it looks like it's got her in good shape. Also in the bag was a little travel Euro adapter for the plug, which is a bit strange because obviously this one works on 13.8 volts DC, so not quite sure what that's all about. But yeah, we'll just do a very quick look in the box. Quite a nice presented box there. Looks quite sort of, you know, professional. And inside you get a proper English user manual. I'm sure it's got the obligatory Chinese or spelling mistakes, but yeah, that doesn't seem to be too bad. We get a USB data cable, and then we get the microphone itself. And this is what people have commented on other videos, that they've said that the microphone is quite a cheap kind of quality, and straight away there can you see that there's a little bit of solder cast on there. Oh, it's come off. Bit strange. So, but anyway, so here's the microphone itself. You've got a numerical keypad on there, and yeah, I can see what they mean. It does feel quite cheap, to be honest. Bit of a sort of clicky push to talk button there. If you've got one of those little Bofang sort of 5 UR radios, and if you like me, you've bought the microphone, you know, the little microphone, it feels about the same as that, maybe just a little better than that, but oh well, you know, that's other people have said that the microphone is the weak link, and yeah, it does feel a little bit cheap in the hand, but you know, as long as it does the job. These radios are so sort of cheap anyway, really. A fused little 12 volt there power lead, which has got a rather strange connector on it, so I'm assuming that goes in the back of the radio. Mounting bracket, which we may or may not use. There's the connector. Microphone bracket, pretty standard, not a bad one actually. And there we go, and there's the unit itself. Now of course, you know, the first thing that strikes you is how small this little unit is. Bearing in mind this is maximum 10 watts, and it's just so incredibly small, which is perfect for what I want it for, to fit into that little go box. Obviously I want something that's quite small. It shouldn't kick out a lot of heat, being only 10 watts. And I believe I've read on a website that I think maximum power consumption, even at full power 10 watts, is I think about 1.8 amps. So it can easily run on a 3 amp standard CB power supply, which is what I'm going to be using. And obviously on 4 watts it will use even less. So there we go. I'm not going to really take it all out of its bag or anything yet, because I'm not quite ready to sort of fit this, but I'm glad that's all arrived safely from China. And yeah, you know, first impressions, yeah, the unit itself looks quite nice actually. All the buttons feel quite tactile. Very impressed with the size of it. Yeah, obviously the microphone, yeah, that's where the costs have been made. You know, that is a little bit, it's a little bit cheap and cheerful, but if it does the job for the money, you know, I'm not complaining. And the fact we get a good set of instructions as well, which is always quite good. So there we go, I'm a happy man. That's all arrived safely, and for the money I've paid, on first glance I'm happy. Obviously when it's actually working, we'll have a better idea, but first glance, yep, that's a Fred in the Shed thumbs up. I'm happy.
So to get started, with the help of Sean's radio here, I was able to program in the PMR 446 channels, and I deliberately chose this radio because the USB connector is on the front, which is very important with the Gobox. No good to me if it was on the side or on the back.
So welcome back. It's a bit like Fred does Blue Peter at the moment. So it's all cardboard and paper and templates and things, just trying to sort of see how much room I'm going to have in this box. Not a great deal really, but I want to get a few things in. So firstly the little radio there, that's going to sort of fit up the top, and then to take care of the audio, well, I had this little audio amplifier knocking about for a couple of years. You know, picked it up cheap to do a project, never got round to it. I'm sure we all do things like that. So obviously the audio output on this will be superior to what comes out the radio, plus it gives me a tone control, and that's going to sort of fit in just down the bottom there. So that's my template to start with, and then in the box itself I've stripped out all the foam, fitted a little grill in the back there, which I'm going to purchase a small fan. And as you can see, I've sort of found quite a decent speaker set there. A little bit of an overkill, to be honest, but we do need a good 8 ohm speaker to take the amplifier there, so it's almost like a little boom box.
So I also want to fit a small meter and a matcher, and that's not going to work on a little 2 meter and 70 centimeter radio, but instead I'm going to do a line in and line out for an additional radio, which is probably going to be one of these new sort of Chinese 10 meter radios. And because I'll be using this sort of portable on holiday, I can't always get a decent ground plane with a mag mount antenna, and I quite often run a tank whip, so the matcher will just give me that sort of, you know, little bit of leeway that I can actually sward the antenna in, because these little 10 meter radios are quite powerful. Some put out about 60 watts, so you've got to be a little bit careful you don't damage the radio. So here we are, all these parts are second hand, all the things that I've used before. Try not to buy any new parts unless I have to. So with the cardboard template made, I can now transfer this into wood. Now I chose MDF board here, and to be honest, I wished I'd used ply. Also cut a really great big hole in top of the box for extra ventilation and access. So a bit of a slow job, you know, you sort of cut things out, file things in to make sure that they fit properly. But I was pleased to say that I did manage to get everything in the front panel. So I stripped down an old CB transformer, and I'll be using that inside the box to give me internal sort of 13.5 volts. It's going to make a little bit of heat, so I have to be careful about that. And then you can sort of see here I'm starting to build up the kind of tier effect of the sort of structure and support of the box inside the box itself.
So here we go, we're going to give it a go. So wish me luck, see what breaks first. This pot rivet gun on my fingers. Well, that's about as far as it'll go. I can't put any more pressure on these are starting to bend up, so it just can't handle this size of rivet, unfortunately. Oh, I don't know, what a piece of crap. So I had to finish the job by hand. It wasn't ideal, but it has worked. It's got that little heat sink on there quite securely, so I suppose, you know, the end justifies the means. So here is the sort of basic wooden chassis of the box. Now I know it's not going to win any Turner prizes for beauty and design, is it? I mean, it is very much homebrew. It's very much knocked up, but it's functional. I think it's going to accommodate what I want. I've sort of got something to work with, as ugly as it is, but from there I can now start building up components and sort of try and work out the wiring. I'm still not really 100% sure how everything's going to work, to be honest. I just get these ideas in my head and then I just carry on. I've made gaps there for six switches, toggle switches. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to use 6 switches. I can think of 4 that I need, but you can never have enough switches. It's always better to over design something in the beginning, and then you know, even if you just left the switch blank, or just put a switch in, but it was inert, you know, it would be better than later on, once it's all finished, trying to put another switch in. So anyway, that's sort of where we are. Still quite a lot of work to go, but you know, it's enjoying it. And so it does look pretty damn ugly at the moment, but it will look better when it's all finished, believe me. Right, we're going to crack on.
So that's about the end of this first video, and that's sort of like Superstructure complete arc. It is pretty bad, isn't it, guys? Yeah, I know. I did fail my O-level woodwork exam, I tell you, and it does kind of show, doesn't it? Anyway, so as I say, the second one will be coming up pretty soon once the box is complete and fully tested. But as for now, as always, cheers and thanks for watching. Catch you later.